Why are expats leaving California and London for a nation where rent is half as much, but residents struggle to put food on the table? Portugal does not make sense. Housing fell 54% below the US. Healthcare is 23rd in the world. A couple comfortably lives on €2,500 a month. Still, average Portuguese salary is €1,200. Rent in Lisbon increased 33% in 1 year. Locals are being driven out of their own capital. The maths produce two Portugals, one for foreigners who bring dollars and euros, another for locals working local wages. Today, we're analyzing all the costs, and the truth may shock you. The housing is where Portugal's affordability is best seen, but there's a story in layers. Renting beyond main cities begins very reasonably. Charming villages within Portugal's interior provide fully furnished two-bedroom flats from $450 a month. Even minor cities such as Aveiro, Castelo Branco, or Viso support comfortable living on $500 to $800 a month. The Silver Coast, an hour north of Lisbon, provides new rentals at less than $1,000. But big cities have another story to tell. For a one-bedroom equipped apartment in the city center, Lisbon charges $1,000 to $1,200. A two-bedroom new apartment is $1,300 to $1,600. Porto, the second city in Portugal, charges $850 for a small one-bedroom in the center, or $1,300 for a detached house off the center. The average rent in the country rose to €16 a square meter during December 2024. That is approximately $10.50 overall for a typical house size. Lisbon and Porto charge significantly more. Lisbon is €22 per square meter. Porto €17. Rental demand has been easing in 2025. Each rental home available garnered on average 17 inquiries during the second quarter, down a 43% decrease from 2024. Lisbon and Porto saw demand fall 49% and 62% respectively. This easing comes after decades of rapid growth fueled by foreign buyers and golden visa investors. Purchasing property differs wildly by place. The average home value in Portugal is around €28–27 per square meter, about $399,000 total for a typical home. But Lisbon averages €69.34 per square meter. Porto goes for $48.83. The Algarve coastal area costs $43.85 per square meter. During the period between 2015 and 2024, national house prices doubled more than twice. The greatest increases occurred in Lisbon. Until May 2025, median asking prices hit €57.20 per square meter in Lisbon, increasing year-on-year by 1.8%. Porto prices rose 5.84% to $37.68 per square meter. Analysts forecast sustained growth up to 2025, even after recent deceleration. Portugal's utilities are still affordable in relation to other costs. The monthly housing expenses consisting of rent, mortgage, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels amount to approximately €820 per household in 2025. Electricity, water, and gas for an average apartment cost €60 to €90 per month. Internet packages range from €20 to €60 based on the speed. Fiber connections at the basic level begin at €40. Mobile phone subscriptions with limitless data range from €15 to €30 per month. Total household utilities for the average household usually cost between €100 and €150 per month. This is quite lower than most of Western European nations. Portugal is 13% lower than the EU average in overall goods and services cost. Supermarket shopping in Portugal is good value, particularly on local produce. Portuguese cuisine is fifth best in the world per Taste Atlas. The EU's fifth largest wine exporter is the nation. Food is much cheaper than in most Western nations due to much of the produce being locally grown and fish being harvested from the lengthy coastline. The cabaz Alimentar Essential, which is the essential food basket, contains 63 items that form the basis of a Portuguese diet. As of January 2025, this basket costs around €240 a month. That is for basic stuff for an individual. 1 kilogram of apples is worth about €194 compared to €467 in the US. Fresh bread is €1 to €2 a loaf. Local wine is €5 a bottle starting price. Domestic beer is €111, whereas the US sells it for €173. Milk is about €1 a liter. Eggs are €2 to €3 a dozen. Chicken breast is about €6 per kilogram. Grocery shopping at neighborhood mercados delivers even lower prices than supermarkets. These run in each city on designated days, providing fresh fruits and vegetables, meats, cheeses, and seafood at a fraction of supermarket prices. Eating out is very cheap. A meal at a cheap restaurant is €8 to €12. A meal for two in a mid-range restaurant is €30 to €45 with drinks. Local beer in a pub is €1.20 to €4. Coffee is €1 to €1.50. Portugal's culture of eating out ensures that restaurants are within most budgets. Food inflation rose 3.4% in 2024, remaining moderate compared to many European nations. Transportation costs vary by mode and location. Public transportation is excellent in major cities. A single bus or metro ticket costs €2 to €2.75 depending on the city. Monthly transport passes range from €30 to €40, providing unlimited travel. Lisbon and Porto both offer comprehensive metro, bus, and tram networks. The Portugal Rail Pass offers unlimited train travel. 3 days of travel within 1 month costs €73 for adults, $36.50 for children. 7-day passes are also available. Taxis cost about 99 cents per kilometer plus €3 to €4 starting charge. Car ownership is costly. Portugal is the 4th most costly country to own a car in Europe, after Switzerland, Norway, and the Netherlands. Portuguese motorists paid €1160 on average per year in 2022. Petrol prices range from €160 to €180 for a liter. Hire cars are €30 to €60 per day, depending on car model and time of year. Insurance is an additional €15 to €30 per day. So, healthcare is Portugal's value proposition that is strongest. The healthcare system of Portugal is ranked 23rd in the world in 2025, with a score of 72 on the Healthcare Index. The nation's 12th ranking is based on WHO's all-encompassing analysis. This places Portugal higher than the United States, Spain, Italy, and Ireland. Average life expectancy is above 82 years, more than 8 years greater than most nations spending much more on healthcare. The National Health Service, or SNS, is tax-funded and provides universal coverage. Most essential medical services are free or heavily subsidized with small co-payments. A doctor visit in the public system costs around €5. Emergency room visits cost approximately €20. Specialist care typically requires a referral from your primary doctor. Prescription medications are partially subsidized, with patients paying 10 to 85% depending on the medication's importance. Certain life-saving drugs, such as insulin, are totally free. Everyone who is a legal resident can use the SNS system by signing up at your local health center. You will need identification, Portuguese tax number known as NIF, residence permit, and proof of residence. After you sign up, you get a healthcare card that grants access to public hospitals and clinics across the country. Faster service, shorter queues, state-of-the-art facilities, and English-speaking physicians are available with private healthcare. A visit to a general practitioner at an individual hospital costs €50 to €60. Specialists are €90. Private health insurance is not overly expensive, from €20 to €50 per month based on age and level of coverage. That would be €400 to €1,000 per year for full private coverage. Approximately 20% of Portuguese citizens have private insurance to complement public care. The hybrid system enables citizens to avail themselves of public health care for minor care and access private services when speed or convenience is an issue. This low-cost flexibility renders Portugal's healthcare among the most desirable in Europe. Income and cost of living uncover the Portugal paradox. The minimum salary is at €870 a month as of January 2025. The average monthly salary is at around €1,200. After taxes, workers earn around €1,000 to €1,100. In the private sector, it is somewhat higher, averaging €1,400 to €1,500 a month. For one person, monthly expenses aside from rent tally around €805 based on recent statistics. For a family of four, one requires around €2,852 per month without housing. With rent, one person living in Lisbon requires €1,700 to €2,350 per month. Far from big cities, the costs fall between €1,200 to €1,750. A pair may comfortably reside in Portugal on €1,700 to €3,000 per month, based on location and lifestyle. Expats generally report spending €2,500 to €3,000 per month for a quality lifestyle away from the metropolitan areas. For Lisbon or Porto, budget €3,000 to €4,000 for a couple. This makes a harsh rift. For €1,200 per month by the locals, residing in Lisbon is almost out of the question. One-bedroom accommodation in Lisbon is about €1,000 average rent, leaving only $200 for transport, food, utilities, and the rest. 50% of Portuguese individuals say their salary is not sufficient to pay bills. The Lisbon average net monthly salary is less than a one-bedroom city center flat. This is the sole EU capital in which such is the case. For foreigners who earn dollars, pounds, or euros, Portugal represents great value. Housing is 40 to 54% lower than the US. Prices at restaurants are 38% less. Grocery items are 39% lower. Healthcare is a fraction of the cost of US healthcare. The cost savings are stunning for those with foreign income. Comparing Portugal to other places, value is apparent. Cost of living in Portugal overall is 28% less than in the United States. 39% less when rent is factored in. Portugal is 28% cheaper compared to France. 28% less expensive than Germany. 5% cheaper than Spain. Lisbon, for example, is 37% cheaper than Los Angeles, 32% cheaper than Minneapolis, 40% cheaper than Chicago. Porto is 43% cheaper than Minneapolis. Even Portugal's priciest city is still spectacularly cheap, compared to most of the major Western cities. The government used the Mais Habitação program to stimulate housing supply and slow down growth in rents. Existing contracts' rent growth is limited to 2.16% for 2025, according to inflation. The actions are meant to safeguard resident citizens while controlling the effect of foreign investment. 9% tourism growth expected for 2025 remains fueling demand in sought-after destinations. The government closed the Golden Visa program for property investment late in 2023, though current holders get to keep their privileges. This is intended to alleviate pressure on housing markets. So, what's the bottom line? Portugal provides the lowest cost of living in Western Europe alongside excellent quality of life. The blend of low-cost accommodation away from urban areas, good healthcare, good food, safety, sunshine, and beaches makes for a compelling package for expatriates. For expats with foreign income, pensions, or foreign wages, Portugal provides unbeatable value. You'll live comfortably on $2,500 to $3,000 per month as a couple. Families do well on $3,500 to $5,000 based on area and school selection. For locals who make Portuguese salaries, the arithmetic gets tougher. Higher housing prices in Lisbon and Porto, fueled in part by foreign investment, push out residents. The $8.70 minimum wage barely pays for necessities. The $1,200 average salary barely leaves enough for emergencies or saving. The secrets of making Portugal pay: earn secure, stable income in dollars, pounds, or euros. Select your location wisely, as Lisbon and Porto are 20 to 50% more expensive than smaller towns. Look at areas such as Braga, Coimbra, Aveiro, or seaside towns in the Silver Coast for improved value. Master basic Portuguese to blend in and pay lower local prices. Enroll in the SNS healthcare plan while thinking about private insurance for quicker access. Portugal in 2025 is where affordable living is merged with top-notch quality of life. It's not the least expensive nation in Europe, but it has the best value, security, healthcare, climate, and culture for expats to embark on a new chapter.